So we found three radiological objects, one of them under a foundation, two of them close to the foundation. And we found lead and PCBs. And we had to do a lot of digging to finish that.
There it is. Graffiti right there.
Now you can see, this is another thing as you just see. This is an interesting thing that's sort of a misnomer. It's called the solid waste disposal area. This area was relatively clean of debris. There was almost no debris at all. So amongst ourselves on the team we called SWEEDA LITE, because it really was a solid waste disposal area with not much solid waste in it. But it did have some contaminants in some limited areas that we had to chase. But it didn't have a whole lot of debris. And we may have to do a little 3-point turn here. I think Darius is having to 5-point turn. No.
Sir, what was the process used to select soil samples from this site? How did you select where to collect the soil samples from?
How did you select them? Okay, well, they're not random soil samples. We don't typically sample randomly. We do what's called biased sampling. So we look at the data that we have, we look at the photographic evidence and the activities that have occurred at the site, and then you generate a data field based on that. And there's actual models that you use in environmental science to generate the actual spatial distribution of the data sampling. And then we run it in a work plan up through the regulators and the public too. For those who there are some members of the public that read our work plans. And then we get approval of it before we go out in the field.
Are the activities that were conducted when the U.S.Navy was here, are those activities public, or are they declassified, or are they not?
Okay, I can tell you there's nothing I've encountered on this island that's currently classified. Yeah. Okay, out of the left-hand side of the bus here is Site 31. We'll come back to that, but Site 31 you can see on this left-hand side has a schoolyard. And then right past the schoolyard you can see where we did major digging. And it's now got some gravel and it's compacted soil. But this site, the field work is done. It took years to finish it. And you can see an intersection where we actually took out the streets here. We had to replace a whole major water line. And the city has come in also and taken down some of the dead trees and vegetation here. But the intersection there that you'll see a little later, we've repaved over that and completed that. We've restored that so you can actually let that car drive over it. For years you couldn't do that. And then the playground that you see with the fence is where we completed our excavation. Okay. Okay, so now we're on our way to the other part of the island, the southernmost part of the island, and we do have sites there. And we're going to do our stop there along Clipper Cove. We call Clipper Cove, the part of Clipper Cove that needed cleanup is known as Site 27 on your map. It's that half moon shaped site that's hanging off into the water. So we're going to make a right here.
This is like that.
In the distance off to the left, yeah, you can see the city's soil stockpile. That's 250,000 cubic yards of soil that's been brought on board TI. That's to stabilize the island and do some geotechnical work. As you know, the city's going to do extensive compacting and geotechnical work. They're also going to make the topography a little more interesting here. As a man-made island, it's pretty flat. It's going to take a lot of soil. That huge mountain of soil you saw there is about 1/6 of what they will ultimately need to do all their geotechnical work on the island. So it's going to take a lot of soil. And they can't all put it in one place, so there's going to be different places where the city locates. You'll see more soil piles in the future. But that one is a quarter of a million cubic yards, a lot of soil. And again, it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge to get clean soil. Bob? Out of the soil recently, we've had some soil come in from the Doyle Drive project near the Golden Gate Bridge, as well as some soil from the